Girl, say hi. Say hi. As you can see, Brenda and I are standing in the middle of a country road. We're out here in St. Louis, Oregon, in Marion County, in the Willamette Valley in Oregon, August 22nd, 2026. As you can see, it's a very, very rural area. This is pretty much all that there is to St. Louis, Oregon, but it's a nice little, tiny, quaint country town. It's a nice little area. If you're into meditating or just taking nice, quiet country walks, this is the place to be. It's a nice day here. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's probably about 70 degrees. Warm day today. There's a light breeze blowing. We're just out here taking what is actually our final walk, believe it or not. We're taking in the countryside, going on a nice little country walk here in St. Louis, Oregon. We're going to be taking a sharp right just up ahead at the old country church here, and we're going to walk down towards where there's an old historic cemetery. But this is actually a bit of a depressing day, especially for me, because this is going to be Brenda and I's last day together. This is going to be our final walk. Tomorrow, believe it or not, Brenda is going to a new home. She's going to be living up in Canada, believe it or not. She's going to be living on Vancouver Island in the little community, little town called Port Alberni, which is located there on Vancouver Island. And I'm happy for Brenda, and I'm hoping she's going to have a nice life. It looks like she's going to have a very nice life. Mother and daughter that live on a property up there just outside of Port Alberni have agreed to adopt Brenda, mainly on a trial basis, but it looks like it's going to work out. But I mean, it's going to depend on whether or not Brenda gets along with their dog. They have a dog that's close to Brenda, like looks almost like Brenda. It's a few years older, and it's a male dog, but it looks an awful lot like Brenda. And Brenda has to get along with that dog in order for this adoption to work. And then I believe they have a few cats as well that live on their property, but they live on 1.5 acres, I believe. So it's a pretty sizable property. And I'm hoping that Brenda gets along with their dog and their cats. And if that's the case, then Brenda's going to be calling Port Alberni, Canada, her new home. Unfortunately, there's been a lot going on. Brenda has her own issues. She tends to be dog aggressive with certain dogs, and she also has a very persistent noise aversion problem. She's very noise averse. She gets anxious and scared over noises, whether they're loud noises or just novel noises. And the problem is that she cannot live in my apartment in Woodburn, Oregon. She can't handle the normal apartment noises, the normal sounds that you get living in an apartment, whether it's people stomping their feet upstairs or they drop something on the floor, which is my ceiling, or they move furniture around. I mean, Brenda just cannot live in an apartment, especially not on the ground floor. And that's where I am. So it's not going to work. I've tried to make it work, but it's just not going to work. Brenda has severe noise anxiety, and it's to the point that she just cannot live in our little apartment there, unfortunately. And then also she has some dog aggression issues with certain dogs. And without going into too much detail, I've had my own problems. I've been dealing with some issues that have seriously impacted my ability to function adequately, which in turn makes it difficult for me to continue to care for Brenda. So I'm not going to go into, all these details or go into a long-winded explanation, but suffice it to say that it's a combination of my own problems combined with Brenda's problems that make our continuing to be a team very problematic. So over the last 5 or 6 weeks, I've been searching all over the place for a new home for Brenda. I've been trying to find different options for her to go live and, hopefully to find her a nice home. And luckily I found this nice mother and daughter who seems like they're a really nice family. We actually met them today. They drove down from Canada. They drove down into Portland, Oregon. So we went up to meet them today. They're staying at a hotel there. And we spent a few hours with them, Brenda and I, got to know each other. Brenda became very comfortable with them. We hung out in their hotel room. And Brenda took a liking to the mother and daughter almost from the start. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty good fit, at least on the human side of things. So I'm going to drive Brenda back up to their hotel in the morning, and that's when it's going to be the final goodbye between Brenda and myself. They're going to probably hit the road around 10 a.m. because they have to drive up to, I believe it's Port Angeles, to catch the ferry going back to the Canadian side, back up to Port Alberni. So that's what's going to happen. Brenda's going to go back to Canada. She's going to call Canada her home starting tomorrow. So I'm sad. I mean, I'm sad. Brenda and I have been together for over 5 years, and we've traveled all over the place. We've lived in different areas briefly. You know, we've had quite the adventures, Brenda and I. We've gone all over, and it's going to end tomorrow. Tomorrow's the end of it. So this is just like a quick little video just to kind of bookend Brenda's channel. It wasn't much of a channel, but I enjoyed making the little videos that we did and chronicling our adventures together. So this is going to be the final video for Brenda Adventures. Unfortunately, I may continue on in some fashion making videos, but this is going to be the end for Brenda and I. And I just wanted to make one final video as a goodbye video to Brenda. That way I could have it on the channel for posterity purposes. And yeah, I know I'm probably going to shed some tears tomorrow too, because it's going to be very, very hard to let go of Brenda. I mean, I miss her already, just thinking that we're no longer going to be a team, but it's for the best. You know, Brenda needs to live in a different environment. She needs to live out in the country, in a rural area. She needs just a different lifestyle, one that I cannot provide, unfortunately. And, you know, her issues, her noise issues and aggression issues are just, they're not really workable in certain areas. You know, she needs to live in a very specific environment. So that's what's going to happen. Okay, girl. One final close-up. She's not cooperating right now. There's too many distractions out in the country here, but that's about it. I know this wasn't much of a channel, but I appreciate everyone who's ever watched our videos and tagged along with Brenda and I on our adventures. I say thank you. I enjoyed making the videos. I enjoyed chronicling everything, even though I'm not a professional videographer by any stretch. But it was a fun process nonetheless. So I say thank you guys, and once again, I am going to miss Brenda, but I hope that she goes on to have a nice, beautiful life up in Canada. Thank you. All right, girl. All right. Let's go.